Welcome everyone to my how-to video on completing Portfolio 2. Okay, so this is your last portfolio and it is actually broken up into two submissions. If you look over here on the right hand side, you'll see that there is Portfolio 2G and that is due, and then a day later Portfolio 2I is due. So to learn more about this, I'm going to scroll down to week 8 and you can see the submission links there. You can also click either of these Portfolio 2 links in the overview of week 8 and that will take you into the appropriate wiki page. So it's the same page for both links. And as you can see, what you're doing for Portfolio 2 is just like Portfolio 1, you are revising documents from your first submissions. So at this point, you should have received feedback on all of the documents that are required, so in-text comments on how to revise all of these documents from 7009, and then these documents from 7014, and then these documents from 7015. Okay, so these are all of the documents from your first submissions that you are going to be revising for Portfolio 2. But if you look at the top here, these two bullet points, it tells you that anything revised by your group should be submitted in 2G, so that would be 7014 and 7015. And anything you revise individually, namely 7009, but also anything else that you wish to do is second revision yourself, and I'll explain that more in a minute. So I'm going to start by talking about Portfolio 2G. This is the group portfolio. So this comes after 7015. So 7015 should be done and graded, and you should have feedback on that by now. And what you're going to do is you are going to place in numerical order these documents from 7014 and 7015, and you should revise them based on the feedback you've received. Now, notice that the wording of this here is very specific. The title page should clearly list the names of the revising group members. That means maybe you've got someone in your group who maybe they were helping throughout first submission but disappeared completely during revision. You should only list those group members who actually participated in the revision because that's what you're getting graded for. So it's really important that everyone in the group who is participating, who is responding and active, takes an equal part in the revision. Okay, so everyone in your group should be revising these documents from 7014 and 7015. So to help visualize this, I'm going to put this in my own kind of table so that I remember what I'm doing. So 7014, and then also these documents from 7015. Okay, so I also know that I'm supposed to put a title page up here for both of these documents. So all of these documents should be in one Word document file with each deliverable starting on its own page. The slideshow, since it'll be in a different program, should be submitted as a separate file so that I can view it as a normal slideshow. Okay, so that's the group submission. So only one person, your group manager, should be submitting Portfolio 2G, and that is the official revised version for the group. But everyone should be participating in the revision so that you can get credit for participating in this last stretch of the writing process. So that's Portfolio 2G, and then a day later, Portfolio 2I is due. So Portfolio 2I, at minimum, includes these documents from 7009. So 7009 was an individual assignment, and you've already received feedback on those, so you can start revising for this now. And the moment that you get feedback for 7009, you can start revising. And so at minimum, this is what your Portfolio 2I should consist of. Okay, don't know why there's an extra. Okay. Um, okay. However, you also have the option of doing a second revision of anything in your portfolio 2G. So for example, this is a situation where maybe you just happen to be in a group with a bunch of people whose standards or level quality of work or their understanding of the concepts are just not as high as yours, and you think that you could do a better job than this. So keep this in mind. This should, so you can revise 7014 and 7015 individually. It would be the exact same documents as over here, and you're welcome to only do 7014 or 7015. That's up to you, or you can do both. But the idea is that you should not do this individual revision of 7014 and 7015 until after the group one. I don't want to read two completely like unrelated revisions. You should work first on revising the group version because you do this portfolio 2G is still 20% of your grade. So you will be evaluated still based off of this group ability to revise. However, you can also get some extra points if you revise 7014 and 15 a second time individually, and that's what you would put here. Okay, so after your group has revised 7014 and 7015, you've decided you've got some extra time and you think you can do a substantially better job than what it currently is, you can revise 7014 and or 7015 and then put it into your individual. Now here's a warning. Please do not waste my time on revisions that are very surface level. So that would be kind of sentence level things, which is still good to revise, but that's not going to make a huge difference in your portfolio 2I grade, okay? Because this revision of 7014 and 7015 is only part of a larger portfolio in 2I, okay? So if you really want to revise 7014 and 15, and you want this to actually have an impact on your grade, there needs to be substantial differences, like entire sections written with better logos or with better structure, or an entire document written so that it better meets the objective of that document. That's what I mean by substantial revision, okay? So if I start reading it and I compare it to your group version and it looks basically the same except some cosmetic changes, that's not going to help you, okay? So don't waste your time and mine with cosmetic changes, okay? So in Portfolio 2I, the main thing you should focus on is revising these main documents. They will make up the bulk of your grade for 2I. And then if you have time, you can consider whether or not you can make substantial improvements over the 7014 and or 7015 documents, okay? All right, so once you are done with revising Portfolio 2I, you can submit this at any point before the deadline. And so this too would be one document. So you'd have a title page, and then each of these documents would start on its own page within that Word document file. And 7014 and 7015 would also be part of the same file. Okay, so you're still, regardless of whether you add your own revision to 7014 and or 7015, this would all still be in one Word document, okay, that you would submit over here in Moodle. Okay, so here are our submissions. So remember that Portfolio 2G, only your group manager should be submitting the group project. And then at any time, you are able to submit Portfolio 2I. It's due a day after the group portfolio, so that you're able to revise the group documents for yourself if you want to. But if you decide early on that you're not going to revise 7014 and 7015 on your own, you can start working on 2I. You could probably even submit that, the moment that you get feedback on 7009 back, okay? All right, so that's all there is to it. So really consider Portfolio 2, both parts, as a final. Okay, so you should be demonstrating all of the skills that we have learned in this course. So I will be grading them based off of the same concepts that I gave you feedback on. And you should really show the level of mastery that you've learned in business writing during this course. All right, if you have any questions, you can always email those to me or bring them to our virtual classroom. And I hope everyone is satisfied with the progress they've made this semester. Good luck.